Hello, my nerdy Nawg-Dawgs. This is your video study guide for your Math and Focus Chapter 2. Now, I really want you paying close attention, even if you think you've got factors, you've got multiples. The way in which Math and Focus asks their questions is just a little bit different. You have to first determine and decipher what's being asked of you. And this study guide is set up to go along directly with the exam. So, get familiar with it, take your time, try and solve for it yourself, and then maybe just kind of skip through the video and make sure that you have the right answer. If you need greater assistance, I'm not going to tell you all the answers, but I will walk you through how to solve. So let's get started, my friends. And again, this is very similarly laid out to how it is on the test. So become familiar. Okay, so here's an example question. Which is the closest to the estimate of 54 times 36? Well, one of our easiest ways to estimate is to round, and we spent a good amount on this chapter rounding digits and rounding numbers. So in this case, I always like to look at the answer bank first to become familiar with what could be my answer. I also then am going to look at the numbers. Well, I know 54. If I have to round a number and it doesn't tell me which place column to round to, I know that my target number becomes the greatest place column, right? And in this case, it's the tens column. So this is the digit that is going to either round down or climb the vine and round up. In this case, we look to his neighbor, his buddy, and 0 to 4 tells this guy, hey man, stay on the floor. And another way to picture that is if this were on a number line, I know everything to the right of the target number zeroes out. So this is either going to stay down on the floor at 50 or climb the vine and go up to 60. Now, halfway between 50 and 60 is 55. And therefore, without having to really look to his neighbor, I can say, well, 54 is less than the halfway mark. Therefore, I know that it's closer to 50 than it is to 60. So 50 would automatically round down. And then when I look at 36, I think automatically, again, target number is going to be in the tens column. And that 6 already is telling my target number, hey, climb the vine, you're going up. So if I had to estimate, the closest estimate for this would be answer A, 50 times 40. Now that's if I'm using rounding, right? Okay, so moving on. The questions do get a little trickier, so stay with me, my friends. This, again, I think is outrageously tricky. You really have to decode what's being asked of you. And in this case, it says, what is the sum of the first two multiples of 6? So remember, multiples are like skip counting. What can your number multiply evenly into? What can it skip and land into? In this case, it's asking us for multiples of 6. Therefore, I know I can count out my 6's. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. I could skip count all the way into the thousands, millions, and every time I added 6, I could land directly into that digit. Therefore, it would be a multiple of 6. So this question is asking us for the sum meaning the answer to an addition problem. What am I supposed to add? It says, what is the answer to the addition problem of the first two multiples of 6? See if you would be able to solve for that. That's very similar to something on the test. Again, our tricky wording in Math and Focus, the goal that they have is that you can apply real life to your math, that you're not just relating it to computation, right? We have computers for computation. We need real world problem solvers. So here's another example question. It says, find the product, the answer to a multiplication problem of 375 times 6. Now, the first thing I always do is rewrite my problem. I can't solve a multiplication problem going across. Maybe you're greater skilled than I am. I need to rewrite my problem and solve. Here's the second part of that. If you see this on your test, know, number one, you have to solve and get the actual answer. You should have done single-digit multiplication with a single-digit multiplier last year in third grade. So this should be a review from last year. You would need to solve and get the answer for that. Then you would need to estimate for the answer. And if I were going to estimate, I would say, well, 375 would round up to 400 times 6. Easy math. So I would, number one, need to solve the answer to this multiplication problem. And then here I would need to estimate. And that would be an easy math problem to do, right? So therefore, I could see if they are similar. If they are, I know my answer is reasonable. Okay. What is the GCF of 24 and 36? You guys know this. Now we're talking factors. Don't mix it up with multiples. GCF stands for greatest common factor. Common meaning, what do they have in the same? What is the same, right? What do they have in common? To solve for this, you would have to write all the factor pairs for 36 and for 24. You guys always know one factor pair, 1 times 24. One factor pair for 36, 1 times 36. Now there's a number of factor pairs. Remember, if you're asked to list them, you need to list them least to greatest at the bottom. What you could then do once you have all the factor pairs is compare them. What is the greatest common factor? What do they have that is the same? What is the largest of those numbers that is the same? Okay, now we're moving through stuff here, guys. Another question. Find two prime numbers between 42 and 50. Well, what was our definition of prime? I know that 42 is not a prime number. I know 50 is not a prime number. So if I were to start on my number line, I could look at all the digits in between those two numbers. How do I know 42 is not prime? Well, it ends in 2. Remember, a prime number would mean that the only factors for it would be 1 times itself. 42 is an even number, therefore I know that one of its factors would be 2 times something. The same with 50. I have 1 times 50, I have 2 times 25, I have 5 times, on and on. These are both composite numbers. Let's see if we can find a prime number. What I would do to solve for this is list all the digits in between 42 and 50. Running out of space here. Now, there's some things that stand out to me right away. I know that this ends in a 5, and if I follow my multiples and factors rules, then I know that this is going to have more than 1 times 5, right? Because 5 can go into it. The same with 44. We had a factor rule and a multiple rule for that, right? 11. So I know that this is a composite number. Check the rest of the numbers. See if you can find one that is prime, meaning the only factors of that number would be 1 times itself. Okay, what about the least common multiple? Well, to solve for that, I'd have to list every multiple of 4 and 12 until I find something that they have in common, the least common. Remember, multiples is skip counting. 4, 8, 12, 16, on and on and on. Okay, create an area model. Now we spent a little time on this with arrays, and then I showed you just one little model. This is not going to be on the test. It's kind of a novelty question to prepare us for next chapter. However, it does really come in handy. So an area model just goes with the idea of solving for area. When we solve for area, we take this length and we multiply it by that length because the formula for area is length times width. In this case, it says 24, so I'm going to label this length, the longer one, 24, and this length going down as 7. Now that's hard math to do in my head. However, next chapter, you learn a zero math multiplication rule. And I could break this up into numbers that are easy for me. And if that full length is 24, I'm going to break this into 20 and 4. And then I could say, well, 7 times 20, that's easy math to do. And 4 times 7, because the height's going to be the same. So again, easy math to do, and add them together. You won't need to solve for this on the test, but it is good to know, and it was a big part of this chapter. Now, this is a question very similar to the test. Kira goes to music class once a week. She attends on the same days each week. We don't know which week yet, okay? Kai goes to music every other day. They both attend on Thursday, the 12th. So if I mark this second one as Thursday, the 12th, then I know that Kai and Kira both attend on that day. When will they be at music class again on the same day? I should have set this up before I had you guys arrive, but maybe you'll join me for the fun. Okay, so if they both attend on that day, we have to go back and find that information. Remember when we were doing word problems this week, I had you underline the things that stand out. Here's what stands out to me. Kira goes once a week. She attends the same day each week. Aha! If she attends the same day every week, and she happened to be there on that Thursday, then I also know she would go the Thursday before, and the Thursday after, and the Thursday after that, and the Thursday after that. And then if Kai goes to music every other day, I would know that if Kai went to music here, he did not go here. But he did go here, but he did not go here. But he did go here, but he did not go here. But he did go here, but he did not go here. So my suggestion would be to use the calendar and try to find the next day when they will be at the class on the same day again. Okay? Your calendar will be all set up for you, and it will be on the test. You might need to write out your own if that makes it easier for you. Doing math on a computer screen is a bit of a challenge. Okay. What is the estimated quotient of 84 divided by 6? Oh my gosh. Remember, this is the division sign when we're in a word processor. So 84 divided by 6. If you know long division, that looks like this. But seeing that we don't even get to long division until next chapter, oh my gosh, why would they do this to us? Then what we can do is, remember this symbol, our brain-based stuff. We were saying that division and multiplication are related, that weird cousin, right? So if we don't yet know our division, what we can say is, well, 84 divided by 6 is going to equal something. We don't know what. However, if we turn that around and use it as multiplication, then we say question mark times 6 is going to give me 84. So then I can take what I know about my 6's, right? And I can say, well, 6 times 10 is 60. Oh, that's not quite high enough. I need to get up to 84. Well, what if I say 6 times 20 is 120. Whoa, that's too high. So then I know that my number has to be between 10 and 20. 6 times something in between. How about 6 times 15? I don't know. Is that the answer? You need to jump around and try and see. And when you get to the correct answer, you'll have 84 over here. And then you know that 6 times whatever you came up with is 84. That's how we use multiplication to solve for division. Okay, I have an entirely separate video on that if you need further practice. Good luck, my nerdy Nawg-Dawgs. Take your time, read through the questions. You've got this.